National Treasury will this morning outline the mandate of the South African delegation going to the World Economic Forum next week. Finance Minister is expected to highlight the country's role in that gathering. Newzroom Africa's business editor Xolani Mbanjwa speaks to us about this. Thank you for your time and good morning, Xolani. What really is expected this time around from South Africa to bring to the table?
Good morning to Misang from hot Sandton here in Johannesburg, where the WEF South Africa 2023 delegation that is going to Davos clusters in Switzerland is actually having a breakfast meeting to actually craft that particular discussion point in terms of the message that they are taking to the world at WEF 2023. So it's going to be a day that is filled with those type of discussions, and as you have mentioned, as you heard from Klaus Schwab, who is the founder of WEF, there are a lot of things that are putting the world in distress today. As we've heard that from the global risk report that was released just yesterday, the high cost of living, inflation, and the climate change issues are going to be with us for at least another 2 years, driven by high food prices and, of course, that war in Russia and Ukraine, which is expected to take a center stage in terms of the discussions next week in Davos.
So, Xolani, is there an expectation really from global role players where tough questions could be asked to the South African delegation? Challenges such as load shedding, how they try to get investment into the country while we have power supply challenges?
That is quite true, Tumisang, because when you look at South Africa today and many other countries on the African continent, they would go to such gatherings where there will be civil society, there will be business leaders and government leaders from around the world to sell that a country is open for business. But as we heard last year in May at the 2022 World Economic Forum, it is quite hard to sell a country and say it is open for business when in fact there is no power supply, and you have stage 6 where you have 10 hours of no power. So it's going to be quite difficult to actually sell the country to the rest of the world, but there are a number of things that are good that put South Africa in a very, very good light in terms of the infrastructure, the ports, in terms of the airports, in terms of there being a number of skilled people who can actually do some of the jobs. But it is quite a tough task to actually expect investors to come into a country that is experiencing blackouts on a day-to-day basis and promise them that we are open for business when you can't ensure that the machines are going to keep running. So they are nonetheless going to continue to do that because it's a job that has to be done. We have to tell the world what we have to offer.
We'll leave it there with business editor Xolani Mbanjwa in anticipation of the outcomes of what the mandate is for the South African delegation going to the 2023 WEF gathering.